Oh, I lost my bats. Let's go back, see if I can find them. Here we go. Here we go. It says, open my mouth. Oh my goodness, check that out. This is my little bat family. They're so cute. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Oh my gosh. That is too cute. Good morning. Happy Halloween, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Oh my gosh. How cute is this? Oh, I got messages coming in like crazy for a second. Good morning. Oh my gosh, there's even blood dripping from my mouth. That is crazy cool. Isn't it amazing that whoever makes these effects, like they just do a phenomenal job? Check that out. Oh my gosh, and my eyeballs. That's awesome. That is so great. Okay, well, I'm going to just stick with this for a few minutes. Oh, look at it. I even got teeth. Sweet. Wow. Good morning and happy Halloween. Let's drink coffee. Oh my gosh, seriously, this is too cool. Let's see what other ones we have on here. This one's really freaky. I don't like clowns, but this one's really good too. Eekers! Eekers, eekers. Yikes. I think those are the only... Oh. Oh my gosh. Can't see what that says. CMAs? I'll go with that too. I'm going to come back over here to the bats. I like the bats. I like my nice white, pearly white fangs. Super cute. So today's Halloween, obviously. And what's really even more amazing about that is there's going to be a blue full moon this evening. So I know for all my very spiritual friends that are way into other beliefs, this is a very magical day for them. And so yay for you, happy for you. And but I do love Halloween for the fun. And you know, there was a period of time that for Halloween even I got a little freaked out about it and thought I was really worshiping the devil, and oh my gosh, the things I can think of sometimes. So there was a period of a couple of years I absolutely had nothing to do with Halloween, and now I just look at it as just something fun and different, and that you can really, you know, just do something way out of your norm and get out of your box and get out of your shell and dress up and be whoever freaky person that you want to be, or being, or whatever that is, and just have fun and just go nuts. And you know, isn't it interesting too, it's a day that everybody is like so intense, you know, and just has a lot of fun, and there's all these Halloween parties, and being a weekend, it can go from, you know, Friday, you know, to tonight, have a couple day weekend. That's the other thing, it's on a Saturday this year, so there's no time limitations for, you know, people for on the weekend. And it's interesting though how this day and Christmas even, can we dress up as elves and Santas and all these different things. And here, I'll shut this off now so we can actually have a conversation. But that was fun that we can, you know, dress up as elves and all these different, we dress in characters, right? And it's a time to just really just do something we really love to do, and everybody loves it, right? So, but if we do it on a day other than the day that it was defined for, then people would think we were nuts and Looney Tunes and crazy and all these different names that get tagged on us. And that is actually really, really sad, because how fun would it be to really live outside the box every single day, right? And you can if you decide to do that. However, we all just really go in the norm of, our everyday lives, do our things, and then on these special occasions, we do the special thing, right? So anyway, and my daughter would be like, Mom, seriously, you got to go there. Like, I know I can get on a very serious note very quickly, but not even but for me though, it's just so interesting and so fun when you do think about these kinds of things. Oh, and yeah, you're right, and then we allow other things or places or people to, the rest of the year, we allow others to affect us in certain ways and judge us for whatever the reason may be. And on Halloween though, and Christmas, it does not matter. Like, nobody cares, because everyone's doing the same things, right? So it's like kind of like, it's the holiday, but it's kind of like following the crowd too at the same time. And so we got stories about this today, about following the crowd and doing what's different for you. And I am super excited to get into it. So welcome to Grandma's on a Mission this Halloween Saturday morning, 9 a.m. My name is Shelly Jean. And I am just very, very grateful for this day to be able to share with you some of the things we're going to be talking about this morning. And if there's anything that resonates with you today and you would love to share it out, I would love for you to do that. And let me know what you're dressing up as today. Like, just put it down in the comments below. Let me know what that's going to be for you. Today, I'm just going to enjoy the day with my grandkids. They're going to be coming over in a little while. And then my grandson that I live with this evening. During this pandemic has been, we've learned to adapt. We've learned to do so many different things. We've learned to, connect in ways that people just didn't believe possible, because that is exactly what I was talking about just a minute ago. We've gotten into such a norm of, of what life is, and we get inside this box, and, we don't want to upset the apple cart, so to speak. And so this whole pandemic though has shifted so many people's thinking and way of doing things and how to connect. And Halloween isn't any different this year. So for Halloween in our neighborhood anyway, there's actually a drive-by where the kids can actually drive through a whole street full of cars, and people will just be handing out candy that way, or they'd get it or something. I'm not really clear on how that works. I'm like, I don't know what the difference of you standing in a car handing out candy versus going to your house, but that's what's happening. But I think I love that people are coming up with so many creative ways and ideas on how to just keep our traditions alive and to keep our holidays alive and to keep people connected. And I really feel that is just so important. And so I'm excited for my grandkids today to have a very happy Thanksgiving. And I'm excited for you to do the same, and for your family and friends. And not to just keep yourself stuck in a box. Like, get outside your box, have fun, do something, that will make a difference in your day today. So I want to, so where are all these so's and buts coming from? Oh my gosh. Yesterday, I received a wonderful, wonderful message so as y'all know, my mom is in a nursing facility. She has dementia. And one of the nurses there, her name is Cheyenne. And I absolutely love this girl. She has been one of my mom's, I have several nurses with my mom that I absolutely love. They take such great care of her. Love this place for her. And her name is Cheyenne. And Cheyenne worked with my mom when my mom had COVID and was in a COVID unit over at the facility. And Cheyenne was one of the one-on-one nurses. And so I really got to connect with Cheyenne and had a lot of, conversations with her. And Cheyenne no longer is on my mom's floor. However, they all dressed up yesterday, the staff, and Cheyenne sent me a picture and this lovely message that said, she dressed up as a cow. Sent me the picture. I posted it on my Shelly Jean page on my public, or not my public page. And she looks amazing, and what an outfit. Oh my gosh. And we talk about, when I just talked about that too, just to digress just a little bit, the costumes are coming out too. The mask totally matched her costume. It was perfect. So, I mean, like, seriously, how amazing are people that have come up with these creative ways too to create new costumes for Halloween, and all these amazing masks that, you can just pick and just have this, your logo, your brand, or your whatever it is that resonates with you right on your face, and other people can see it. I love it. Like, I love seeing what masks people come up with and share with us. And anyway, so Cheyenne sent me this beautiful message yesterday saying that she dressed up as a cow, and that the staff and her had gone through, to all the residents. And my mom just giggled, she said, and just thought that was the best. And so did I. And it just really teared me up, because I was like, oh my gosh, I love that they take such great care of their residents there. Their the patients and the clients, or whatever the term is that you want to use for that. And that my mom and all of the staff just had a really wonderful day yesterday to celebrate the holiday. And I just thought that was great. And I just had to share that because I just thought it was amazing. And then I'm going, we all have the birthdays, of our friends and family. And today is my cousin Randy's birthday. And I want to share a little bit of story about this. When we were kids, when we were really young, up until I was about 9 years old, holidays at their house was amazing. Amazing. Every relative got together. We shared Christmas together. It was a big, big to-do. And I really knew my cousins back when I was very, very young. Well, I have a stepdad who was an alcoholic, and all of these holidays started turning into just major events. And then apparently the excuse was that, they couldn't afford a lot of gifts for us. And so it was hard for us to open gifts with them, because my cousins on all sides were very wealthy. And so they had a lot, there were a lot of gifts that were opening. And apparently that was the excuse that my family had told me, and that was a belief I grew up with, until I realized that the real reason we weren't going to any of our relatives anymore was because of my drunk alcoholic stepdad, because he would just end up fighting with someone or get in arguments and just be an idiot. And so that's what I grew up with. And so it was about the age of 9 that I really didn't see my cousin Randy on my mom's brother, that side of our family, like that group of kids that I was growing up with. And I love those guys. Like, we used to have a lot of fun together. I remember really well. And, we used to run through their big old house, and, we just had a lot of fun. Well, I've learned throughout my whole life I'm in survival mode. And so I really just focused on what was right now, and I really didn't focus on outside family. And it was my stepdad's side of the family, because that's where everybody drank and partied and, had their good times. And so that's the family that we hung out with. So I didn't get to grow up really with my mom's side of the family, except for my Aunt Arlene and my Uncle Jack, who I absolutely freaking love more than anything. And they were like a mom and dad to me, and they took great care to make sure that through my hardship times and everything, that they were there for me. They were amazing people. And so my cousin Randy, I never even saw them anymore. I had no association with them. My other cousins, my mom's other brother, their kids, like, we just had no association. And we all just really started connecting in the last couple of years on Facebook. So thank you, Facebook, for that. I'm so happy that, I've got to reconnect with a lot of family. And anyway, so it's my cousin Randy's birthday today. I didn't even know he had a birthday on Halloween. I didn't know we had a Halloween birthday. And so it's been really fun to see that. And so I posted, he had made the Happy Halloween, and I put that on my cover photo today. That was from him. And it is so, and I'm thinking, wow, they post about their grandkids, and I'm still seeing them like as 9 years old, right? Because that's really the last memory that I had, and I'm thinking, wow, how one decision. I mean, we know this, but I'm just talking in the literal sense of, like for example, with my stepdad, how my mom, or my family or whoever made that decision not to allow my stepdad around anymore, changed everything for our families because we weren't allowed around them either. And it wasn't that we weren't allowed, it was my stepdad. And so, because he wasn't allowed, then he didn't allow us to do anything. Right. And so it was really, really crazy times. I call them crazy because you know what? I had an amazing family that I would have loved to have grown up with, and I just didn't have that opportunity. But I'm really loving it now, reconnecting, and I get to hear stories, and I love, learning about their children, their grandchildren. I see birthday pictures and all these things, and so I'm gonna love watching today and all the shares that are coming in and seeing their grandkids dressed up and showing off my grandkids, and so it's pretty amazing. And I could be bitter about not being able to grow up with my family, but I really still have some really amazing stories, and I share those with my kids. And my kids don't know them at all. Never even heard me talk about them. And that's how narrow my little world has been. Right? And I have a huge family. And I remember just having these huge, big family picnics too in my back of my grandma and grandpa's yard. And I remember I share a quick story, and then I want to get into the other piece of what we're talking about. My aunt Ardell, she had brought over this big tub of one of those roaster pans full of chicken, and everybody loved it. Like they were like raving about this chicken. What a great job my aunt did. And there must have been, at least easily 50 people, at this. And my grandpa had a yard as big as a football field. And in this yard, there were apple trees and not grapes, but apple trees and pears. And we lived in the city of Sioux Falls, and there's 2 doors over was my mom's best friend, and there was horses in their yard. So that's just how crazy it was when I was growing up in a really cool way. So anyway, my aunt had brought over this big pot of chicken, and come to find out, I don't know if it was the same day or weeks later or whatever the case was, but she had actually bought it from Kentucky Fried Chicken. So we had KFC, that was the chicken, but everybody thought my aunt had made it. It was just the best, one of my favorite memories. And it was, obviously we're still talking about it. It was a story that was talked about forever. And since then, though, my aunt and uncle both have passed away. This is my first, not even my first, more my cousins, their first holiday without their mom. And so I know it's really, really difficult for them. So if we could just say a prayer and, healing for all of them, I would be so appreciated. So we'll just do that. And thank you for that. And, we just go on and we tell stories. So yesterday I woke up and I'm in a group called #Rise and Grind. I love this group. I have met so many amazing people in this group. And Glenn Lundy does a live show every single morning at 4:30 Pacific, 5:30. Actually, I got the times mixed up because I come back and listen to it and replay it. Now, though, he's starting to put it back on, or put another replay live on at 7:30 in the morning. So I go in and listen to it at then. And yesterday, he had a guest on, and his name is Albert Lakanga. And oh my gosh, this story was so impactful. So if you want to watch it, you can go to glenlundy.com, or you can be asked to join the group #Rise and Grind and come in and watch it there. And this is just one of hundreds of powerful and empowering stories that Glenn has at glenlundy.com. You can find him on YouTube too at Glenn Lundy. So you'll be able to find the video there as well. But I wanted to share a little bit about the story because we talk about the decisions that change the trajectory of our lives. And I loved that. Hey, Randy, nice to have you here. So I love that this story about this interview with Glenn Lundy and with Albert Lukanga really changed his whole family's lives. And it resonated with me as I just shared that story, because it changed the whole trajectory of my family's lives, with my mom, you know, being married to my stepdad, who was an alcoholic, and it changed everything for us. Absolutely changed everything for us. And I have a lot of forgiveness in my heart for all of that. I have a lot of love for all of that. And I didn't allow it to define me. I allowed it to refine me. And I allowed that, you know, that piece too of my history, living with my stepdad and, you know, living in that cycle of alcoholism, was not what I wanted to do for my children. And when my daughter was 6 months old, I put myself in treatment, and I haven't drank. She's 36. And so it's been 36 years that excuse me, I take that back. Oh no, are you kidding me? This whole time you're not getting any sound? Do you want to check and make sure your sound is on? Oh my gosh, Randy, thank you for that. I've been talking this whole time. Let's see. Thank you. Let me go check. You're going to see a lot of light in your eyes just for a minute. I want to make sure that you guys are hearing me. Oh my gosh. That'd be really funny. Let's see. Make sure your sound is on. Nope, I got sound, Randy. Yeah, oh my goodness. Thank you though for that. Yep, I have sound. Now I forgot where I was. Yep. I'm like, oh no, I've been talking this whole time and I have no sound. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So back to my story. So changing even that decision for me, my daughter was, 3 months old. 6 months old when I went into treatment. So 36 years, I've drank 3 times in 36 years. But there's been a lot of dry alcoholic tendencies, and people that are in AA know exactly what I'm talking about. We can get into that another day. This is about making decisions, about changing our lives, and how one person's decision changes a whole family. And so when I heard this story yesterday with Glenn Lundy and Albert Lukanga, first of all, it was a fascinating interview, but it was also very impactful. And Glenn was talking to Albert, and Albert had shared that when he was growing up, he grew up in a family of 9 with other 9 brothers and sisters. He was the 7th child, and his mother, they lived in the Congo. Is it Congo or Conga? In the Congo. And we've heard many stories. They left their home in the middle of the night, 10 kids. Their dad had put them in a bus, like 4 at a time, and they ended up at a refugee camp. They were in that refugee camp for 7 years. That just blew my mind. And in the refugee camp, though, they were allowed to go to school, and their mom was actually a designer, and they all had to quit their jobs, leave their lives, leave their home to be safe and go to this refugee camp. So in the refugee camp, mom went to work as a seamstress to put her kids through school, and then it just got to be too much. Could you imagine 10 kids trying to put them all in different schools? And Albert knew and was almost had to leave school because his mom couldn't afford it. So he went to, I forget the name that he calls them, like in our schools we call them principals. It was like a headmaster. And he went to the headmaster, and he's young. He's like really, really young. And he was already an entrepreneur. Like when you hear this story, like he already knew what he wanted, and he did whatever he could to make it happen. And so I love this story. So he went to the headmaster, and he told the headmaster that he would do whatever he had to do to make sure that he could go to school. And he knew 4 languages. He was learning, and English was one of them. He was learning English in this school. And I was like, what? And I'm thinking, wow, you're in a refugee camp. And he was talking about, too, how people just get so hardwired into that poverty mentality. And I thought, wow, that is so true. Because I didn't know any different growing up. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know. Like, I absolutely had no mentors in my life. Nobody that, like I said, my mom's brothers, like their families were very wealthy. I didn't have contact with them. So I didn't even know anything about, how to even become that. And we grew up, moving from here to there to here to there because my dad was drunk and just ridiculous all the time. And then he finally became what do you call it? A active drunk, one that can go to work and take care of his family. And so people were like, how can there be anything wrong with that? But then I could watch my mom and him fight from Friday to Sunday, like violently fight, and then started involving me and my brother. And oh my gosh, it was crazy. And so anyway, so Albert, he's talking about it living in the refugee camp. And I didn't realize, oh my gosh, I'm 60, you guys. And there's still so much I'm learning, that there's a difference between immigrants and refugees. And so when he told the story about becoming a refugee and then the 7 years that his family lived in that, and they were on the list to move, and they were going to move to Australia. But Albert was really sick. Because they had to go get a doctor's, they had to get an exam and everything before they could travel to a new country. And Albert was very sick. He didn't say what he was sick from, but he was very sick. And so he had to have a blood transfusion and all these different things. And so him being sick held his family back from moving to Australia. And because of that, and after he was well enough to come back, or after he was well enough and they were able to allow them to move, they ended up in the USA. And I was like, what? Like, I was sitting there like, I couldn't even believe this story. It was just so powerful. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is just so amazing. And Albert went to work he applied for a job at, I want to say it's JD Banks. I know it's a men's clothing store. And that they didn't need anybody at the time. And so Albert didn't get hired, and he was persistent. For 2 months he went in and he kept telling them, he's like, just let me in, let me in, let me in. He's like, I'll even just do the garbage. I'll pick up the garbage. And they finally let Albert in, and he's telling his story, and he's did start from the bottom, and he was listening to salespeople, and he realized that people required a story. They required a vision. They required a place of feeling that whatever outfit that they were going to fit into fit whatever it was they were going into. Let's say it was a business meeting, or they were going to a fancy attire, a formal place. And Albert still has the ability to make you feel like you're already in that space before it happened. And aren't we taught about visions, and aren't we taught about goals, and aren't we taught about seeing the end before you even get there? And that was so powerful in Albert's share, because he would share and he would tell a story about that person. He would say, can you imagine wearing this, how you would feel, what it would look like, and what people would, see you coming in as a strong, empowering, power person. And he also would let them know too that you don't want to look so great that you overpower the room and others would feel intimidated by you. I was like, this man's amazing. And right away I said, I have to share this on Grandma's on a Mission. It is so important because your stories do matter. And he's very successful now. He became one of the top salespeople at JD Banks. And he said what happened too was because he was one of the better salesmen, obviously, then other people got lazy. And he said, you know what? I know how to do this. And now you can go find him at albertcouture.com. Is exactly as it sounds. It's Albert, COUTURE.com. And you can find the suits that he sells now. And Glenn Lundy had one on yesterday. And Glenn has Rise and Grind, and it's the cross, and there's like Glenn has a lot of really amazing designs, and Albert had made him this jacket with Rise and Grind crosses in it. It was just gorgeous. And they were talking about colors and how people, like for me, for example, it's, certain colors have to matching all these things. And Albert put colors together that I would never have thought of. And I thought they were just brilliant and they're beautiful. If you even go to his page too at Albert Lukonga, it's Lukonga. And you can even see some of the stunning outfits that he even wears. He's just obviously dresses impeccable. It's very casual, but it's very chic, a word for guys. I don't know, but that's my word. I think he looks beautiful. They're brilliant. And so I just had to share him out today because, wow, I seriously thought his story was great. I'm like, if you can come from the Congo and you can come to the United States and you can really do something for yourself, and you have 9 other siblings and you have a mom and dad that absolutely would do whatever they could for you, you deserve to have your story told because you are one amazing dude. That is for sure. And again, it just resonated with me because that's what happened with my family too, right? Just one decision can change everything. Like I said, I didn't get to grow up with any of my mom's, I only grew up with 2 of my mom's sisters' kids, but one more specifically because one lived right where we did. The other one lived in Omaha. But those were the 2 that we were in contact with. I wasn't even really in contact with any of my other cousins except for my cousin Gary, and my cousin Gary too has long since passed away, and him and my brother who passed away too, those 2 looked like they were brothers. It was crazy. Those 2, like one was a redhead and one was a blonde. It was great. And but yeah, it's the stories. Like what story, like even for today for Halloween, so what story is it that you tell yourself? What is your belief around all that? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Are you happy about it, sad about it? I can tell you many stories that happened to me on Halloween that I'd never want to celebrate another Halloween again as long as I live. And it's not about that. It's about my grandkids, and it's about other people, and it's about us serving others and our story to be a shining light for others. So don't ever think too that, oh my gosh, her story is that, mine doesn't even match. Because I've heard that before too. Your story is your story, and your story is the light for someone else. And your story can save someone else's day. In fact, it can even save someone else's life. So don't hold yourself back. Share your stories, family, your beliefs around things. But don't be angry with other people about their beliefs. You can't change how other people think. You can't change how other people feel. You can be empathetic to it and you can be sympathetic to it. You have no right to make other people put down what other people believe. And arguing about something too is not going to change anything because no matter, that is why arguments are why arguments are, because you're arguing with somebody about your belief, they're trying to get their point across about their belief, and you all can just agree to disagree. And if more people in the world would just get along and do that, this world will be a far better place to get along in, because we all have our own stuff, we all have our own stories, we all have our own beliefs about things, and it's neither right nor wrong. It is what it is. So I want to leave you on this note. Speaking of, so my eyeballs are gonna get all. I had to go back to Alberto's page, so just give me 1 second here. I want to end on this when we talk about our beliefs about things, and I love this poem. I was scrolling through his page and I found this. I went, I love that, and I want to share. I want to end it on this note. And if I can't remember if I saw this in Napoleon Hill or if I saw it in one of these 2 books. And anyway, I love this. So this is about beliefs. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you lose, you've lost. For out of the world we find success begins with the fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the strongest or faster man. But sooner or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So you enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Thank you so much for meeting up with me today on this Halloween Blue Moon special episode of Grandma's on a Mission. And life does begin again every single day, one step, one day at a time. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much again, and have a great day. Happy Halloween.